But there's one other area that already God seems to be nudging us about. These opportunities just keep on coming. And it's the opportunity to meet specific needs of individuals and families that are not in the scope of work that the shelter does next door. So here's just one example of what I mean by that. So 3 weeks ago, a woman, a client from Kirkland Place, which is the women's shelter next door, she knocked on our door in desperation. She's in the process of fleeing domestic violence, and the few possessions that she still has left in the world were located about an hour from here, and they needed to be moved to a storage unit close by to that location by 4 p.m. the next day, or she'd lose it. So Kimberly Janice, who is on site as a volunteer to be with folks as they come to our door in situations like this, she met with her, and then Kimberly and I had to decide whether or not we, Salt House, had the capacity to help, to find a truck, to find someone who could drive, to find people who could move her stuff in less than 24 hours, right? So we decided to see if we could make it happen. And you know what? It happened. Yeah. And we found a truck. Mark Templin, he was able to pick up that truck. Then he drove that hour. He met with the woman and a staff member from Helen's Place. They loaded up the truck. They moved the stuff. And you know what? It meant everything to this woman, right? She texted Kimberly and me afterwards, and she said, this is what she said: "I wanted to thank you again for everything Salt House did. The entire Salt House community are truly amazing. I'm so grateful for your support during such an uncertain and stressful time. Thank you." Yes, thank you. But to make it happen was a lot of work, right? It was hours of coordinating. I sent emails. I was texting people individually. Many of you got those messages, right? I was texting with the woman who, as well as the case manager about it. I was texting with Joy, she's the woman whose truck that we ended up borrowing. Kimberly was on the phone with the storage unit place. I was getting addresses and times and people coordinated and connected as they needed to be. And this was all while I was still sick with COVID. But I'm so overwhelmingly grateful that we made it happen, right? But as Kimberly and I debriefed it afterwards, we raised the question, so does Salt House have the capacity to say yes when these opportunities come up, right? Helping in tangible ways that can involve cars and time, sometimes money, coordination. It's a lot. And we decided, not in the way that we did it, right? It took too much time. We needed a better system. So we decided we could only say yes in the future if we build a system to better coordinate volunteers where folks are there and ready and want to serve. What if we start to respond to this nudge from God now, this need from our neighbors? Because the need is there and we just kind of keep piecing it together, and it's just not going to work anymore to keep doing it that way. More needs are arising for our folks who are clients next door and others who are waitlisted and trying to get in. This is a hard time for folks. We can start experimenting and gathering information now for how we can meet the needs of one person, one family on the day that is the hardest day of their lives, right? Trying out this ministry of justice and mercy and loving our neighbors in practical ways that are needed now. So to do that, we need you, right? We need as many folks as possible. So friends, I want to ask you to sign up to be part of a pool of people, the helpers, what we're going to call our Love in Action team, that are notified when there's a need like this. We want to put a system in place around what we've already been trying to do and what we have done. And the hope is that this becomes a huge group of people who have different things to offer, right? But the hope is that you also think of it as a very small group of people, so that when a need arises, a request comes in, our assumption is not that someone else has it taken care of, right? But that we stop and check in and say, wait, can I make this work? And absolutely say, nope, can't do it this week. That's fine. But to choose that posture of yes, we can, that love in action. There are so many groups and organizations that are forming and rallying around such awful things right now, around bigotry, racism, homophobia, transphobia, exclusion, hate. And friends, let us gather around a way of love and mercy, building this mobilized group of people who can respond in faith and love to those who need it. So our Love in Action team will also be available to serve the needs of our Salt House community too, yeah? which is awesome. This is for our needs also. And this is something we already do, but it has that same struggle at times to recruit the help when there are like more nuanced needs for tasks and assistance. So this will give more structure and therefore just like more opportunities for this kind of care and support to happen in our church. Because not only do we want to roll up our sleeves and engage in mercy and justice for our neighbors outside these walls and beyond, but this is what it means to be beloved community together, right?